Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here. Today I'm going to give you a behind the scenes look at my Troll and Toad EVO store, and I'm going to take you through a little bit of the different menus. And right now you're looking at the dashboard. There's kind of a lot of information right there. I'll walk you through all that, and I'll go over just the experiences I've had the past 6 months or so using EVO. We'll see the exact start date as we get into the shipments menu, but yeah, right here, this is kind of your main landing page. This is the dashboard, they call it. On the left side, you can see balance is what my net balance is as of right now. Some amount of orders might be pending. It probably depends on what method the customer pays, but that is my net balance from July 1st until today. The last payment, what I do is you can see the auto pay box here is unchecked. I actually manually request payments. They send a check. They will pay via PayPal, but they don't do friends and family. You're not their friend or family. So you would get hit with the full 2.9% plus 30-cent transaction fee. So I just take like a standard check. They mail me a check, deposit it in the bank, no fees at all for that. But yeah, at the end of June, so on July 1st, I requested my full net balance at the time, and that was $13,477.55. You can see right now we're almost mid-March. I'm lagging a little bit behind last month, it seems so far. Kind of my goal at this point is to stay in the 5-figure range and obviously grow that as much as possible over time. But bottom left here, you can see it shows you some recent sales. Top middle, it shows an overview of your entire inventory. So when I go into the inventory tab, I'll kind of expand upon this further, but the way that it works, everything that is in your inventory, similar to eBay, it doesn't have to be live at once. Say I have 20 Shining Legends ETBs. I can go on eBay and I can just list one, and as that sells, I can list more. Same thing on Troll and Toad. So I have 13,300 active items, and I have 40,000 on hold items. Seems like a fairly big discrepancy there, 3-to-1 on hold to active. Again, once we go into the inventory, you'll see I have 1,000 of some cards. Anybody who watched the Battle Arena deck breakdown that I did with those Rayquaza Calvio Battle Arena decks, I've got several hundred of a handful of different trainers, and that accounts for that discrepancy. And then the available is just the sum of the two. So my active listed inventory is $48,400. On hold inventory is $73,000, and then the total inventory at Troll and Toad is $121,000. So today's Sunday as I'm recording. You'll see this on Monday when I post it. They do not clear any sales on Sundays. So 0 sales today. If I went into my pending sales, you'd see some amount pending largely from today. But yeah, here you can see 420 sales the past week, $2,700, and they show 15, 30, and 90-day history. You can see that my 30-day is fairly close to what my last month was, 13.4, 13.1, and my 90-day is right around, about 15,000 a month for a 90-day average. This shipments tab, sometimes it's a little finicky, but it actually looks correct right now. Again, each one of these portions of the dashboard will be further expanded upon when I go to the section. But inbound shipments means I've entered a submission into their form, and it's inbound to them in transit in the mail. So I currently have zero of that status. This 2,987, anybody who actually saw the video that I did of shipping bulk, those roughly 3,000 cards that I sent, that's what this one shipment is, and that's the estimated retail value. Those can be quite a bit off. That's just a number they come up with based upon their placeholder pricing for each item, and that can vary quite a bit. Processing, it looks like my orders in their warehouse but not yet being processed. And then fees down here at the bottom. So small items, they charge like individual cards, booster packs, sleeves from the Elite Trainer boxes, dice from the Elite Trainer boxes. It's 1/3 of 1 cent per card or per small item. And large items like an Elite Trainer box, collection boxes, those are 10 cents a piece. So for last month, my total storage fees were $210. I should have mentioned probably earlier on, but I guess I'll mention it now. This service isn't free. One, you pay to store your items there, and two, you pay a $19.99 monthly fee to open the account. That's $19.99 for the Troll and Toad EVO. And then if you want to cross-list your same inventory on eBay, it's an additional $19.99. My initial plans when I started was to do 6 to 12 months of Troll and Toad alone, and then add on the eBay option just to get a baseline for what I do on Troll and Toad alone, and then see what I do paying the extra 20 a month. I mean, given my volume, I think it'll pay for itself, but I'm trying to get as much inventory as I can there, and I've kind of been delayed times my limiting resource lately, and there's a lot more shipments I have to get ready and get out to them. But yeah, that kind of a long intro to our dashboard. Top right here, we will go into each one just to dive a little deeper. So the inventory tab, I'll show you here. I'll actually change the prices on a couple items just so you can see how that works. I really love their system. My internet's slow. I don't know how much of the delays. I mean, I do have about 3,000 unique items here. I'm unsure how much of the delays are my slow internet and how much, if any of it's on their side. But like right now, you can see one thing I love when I'm listing an item on eBay. Like say I'm listing a base set 2-player starter set. Everyone lists with their own name, and it's hard to always search out. Like you can't type in one search term and catch every base set 2-player starter set, because some people call them theme decks, some people call whatever they call them. It's non-standardized. Every eBay seller is doing their own thing. But the way that Troll and Toad works, this is an inventory item. Anyone who's selling a base set 2-player starter set will get cataloged into this item. So right now you can see I have 1 available on site, 0 on hold. The storage fees for the deck, surprisingly, is only 1/3 of a cent a piece. And I haven't sold any the past week. But right now I'm priced at $389.99. And you can see here, they actually do the math for you. It says that it's estimated, but I'm sure it's pretty close. So at this tier, it's about a 10 or 12% fee, which the math works out to where I'd clear $350 approximately if I were to sell at this price. They show you what the Troll and Toad price is, so I'm actually beating them. And then this is my favorite column, lowest price, $389.99, $389.99, and then there's 3 live. So all in one place, I can modify my listed amount. I can change my price. I mean, say I want to make it, let's give somebody a $10 sale if they want this item. So I'm going to adjust the price to $379.99. If anybody noticed, this grayed out button turned green because now an item has been changed in this form. And if I want to save it, I just click save. And it says right there, items have been saved. If for some reason I want to delist that, say, I mean, mid last year, say prices were shooting up on this and I just don't want to sell it. One, you can either crank up the price, or you can change the on hold to 1. You see that changes the available to 0, and then you click save again. I actually want to keep it listed, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, scrolling down through here, my face is covering it up, but you can do, right now the default I think is 50 items per page. You can do up to 500 at a time. Like this Bulbasaur, I'm at $8.95. The lowest is $7.49. If I want to sell it, I mean, similar to eBay, the way it works is you kind of got to be the best price. So you might think to yourself as you watch me do this, this is very time consuming, and especially with 3,000 items, I would not ever want to go through 3,000 items manually this way and change my prices. It's a bit difficult to show the entire process, but you can see right here the download CSV button. And what I did in another tab, if I can find it. Okay, here we go. So what I did in another tab is I downloaded that and I put it into a Google Sheet. And this is my entire inventory now in one sheet. And anybody who's savvy with Excel, you can go through, say I just wanted to match the lowest price on everything. I mean, I could literally just copy and paste column H into column K, and that would make my price equal to the lowest price. Certain times you want to be careful because there might be certain items where I literally have the only one on Troll and Toad. Right now you can see live quantity here. Like live quantity is 1 for this item. So I literally have the only one on Troll and Toad. There's times where Troll and Toad's price will be 49 cents on an item, and that'll be called also the lowest price when no one has any live. So you run the risk of being the only one. Troll and Toad might not have had it in stock since 5 years, and you might be pricing an item that's worth 50 bucks for 50 cents or something. So you do need to be careful just doing a straight copy and paste. Again, anyone who's really spreadsheet savvy, Excel savvy, you can go through and you can make all kinds of rules, copy this over. If, I mean, you can search out certain strings of text, and I'm not really going to turn this into a Excel tutorial, but the functionality is there with the CSVs to edit inventory as fast as you want. So I think to prevent this video from going too long, I'll call that being thorough enough on the inventory portion. I think I probably hit everything there. Yeah, the CSV export though is the biggest feature. Really, really great for just bulk adjusting pricing and on hold quantity. So here's the sales column. It defaults to a duration of the prior 30 days. So prior 30 days, 13,000 gross, 11,000 net. Do the math, very roughly say 18% or so is my average fee. Again, anybody who remembers from prior videos, they charge 10 to 15% generally on items above $1.09, and items under $1.09, as you can imagine, the fee is going to be higher because it's such a cheap item. They charge 50% flat. So if you sell an item for $1, you get 50 cents. I don't know about anybody else here. I know Old School Pokemon actually ships 99-cent singles on eBay. Go and give his video a watch, and you can see the numbers behind shipping 99-cent singles. You lose money. So having Troll and Toad gives you the ability. You can see right here, Great Ball. I sold 3 of them for 20 cents each. Sobble, I sold 77 cents. I'd lose money putting a stamp and a top loader and getting that shipped out, and then the time and everything. The way that they do it, they either charge shipping on small orders, or they get buyers to, I don't know what their exact thresholds are, maybe $35 is their minimum for free shipping if they're not running a promotion or anything. But yeah, the greatest thing about this program for me, the EVO program, is having a way, I mean, two things, I guess. The offloading the fulfillment, offloading all that labor, and then 2, just even having the ability to profit on such cheap single sales. So as I mentioned, it's Sunday right now as I'm doing this. You can see I have 1,200 in gross pending sales and about 1,000 in net pending sales. Many of these were today. if you scroll back further, one thing that I don't fully understand, but it's not a huge deal. I guess it only goes back 5 days. So my oldest pending order is 5 days old. I don't know if that's like an e-check. I don't know if that's, like, credit cards should be quick, generally speaking, I would think. But some orders take a week to pend, and some of them, they just instantly go. I've never really looked too much into it, but it's kind of a thing that I just figured I'd mention. So our next tab after sales is shipments. This is one of the more interesting ones, I think. You'll see right here, this is every shipment that I've ever done into Troll and Toad EVO. So the way that it works, if I wanted to start a new shipment, click right here, new shipment. I mean, I guess I can do that just to show you. I'll call it EVO test, just to show you the way that it works. Say I wanted to ship in a bunch of Chilling Reign booster boxes. You create a new shipment, work on this shipment, just type Chilling Reign, say, let's see what pops up first. But again, sometimes it's a bit slow. I think that's probably more on my end, but yeah, there's all kinds of things come up. Say I've got 100 Chilling Reign sleeve booster packs. Oh, it's saying page unresponsive. It's actually not letting me edit these right now. Screen recording, doing all this, I think it might be slowing it down further, so maybe this isn't the best idea. But yeah, oh, here we go. So say I've got 2 cases of booster boxes, 12 booster boxes. Say I've got, I mean, whatever it is, you go through item by item, you search it out, and you enter the fields there. And then up here, it covers your whole shipment. You go to review shipment. And then, like with 2 items like this, it's really easy. They want you, though, instructions. On the next page, you're instructed where to ship it. But the biggest thing is that you sort them in the order that they show up on your invoice. With booster boxes, with like bulky items, if you've only got a few lines in your shipment, it's not a big deal. I mean, you just sort it. You can imagine, though, how cumbersome this becomes, how time consuming it can be. I kind of mentioned it in my last video, packing bulk. If you're doing 100 different singles, 500 different singles, you've got a 20-page packing slip that goes in your order. And the way that you sorted them as you packed them and got them ready to enter into this form, it might be completely different from the way that Troll and Toad itemizes it and sorts their list. They kind of do like an alphabetical, again, I mentioned this in the other video, they do like an alphabetical by set thing, but then occasionally things are a little off from being truly alphabetical. So that's just something to be mindful of. My suggestion would be to do kind of easy shipments to begin with, maybe. And then go through the process, get it. So do maybe 10 items that you've got 50 of each card instead of doing 500 single cards that you then gotta shuffle through and get all organized properly. And it is also important that you do not send sleeve cards. You don't send 9-pocket pages. You can't send in any additional packaging that they'll have to like manually. I mean, if and when you do that, they mention elsewhere in their terms and conditions that they'll charge you. I mean, they'll charge you hourly for the amount of time they have to unpack, or they'll charge you the raw fulfillment fee of 6 cents per item. So do make sure that you pack things correctly. And I had mentioned roughly 6 months I've been doing this. You can see my initial shipment was actually back on, yeah, right about 6 months ago, January 17th. And this second column is date completed. So it took them about 2 weeks at that time to complete an order, and that was 2,000 items. It's very variable, like anyone else. I mean, they're not PSA level backlog. If you look through here, every single thing, there might be a time or two where it got to 3 or 4 weeks. but then you'll see, I mean, some were next day. These ones are a little over 2 weeks. This one was towards a month. It's very variable. This one was less than a week. So it's just, it's a supply demand thing. If 10 other vendors send in a pallet worth of EVO shipments, then it's kind of a first in, first out, I'd imagine. So yeah, as I mentioned at the home screen, right now I have the one right here, 2,987 items that is arrived, but they're not, I think they call it warehousing when they're actually like putting it out there, and that's like the final step before it's complete. You do see this random in queue raw fulfillment. I need to double check with them. I mean, this one's 2 months old. I think this is kind of like a straggler. It's not a real order. This one just needs to be deleted away. Somebody forgot to check a box and close it out. This most recent one though, I did send 1,000 cards for raw fulfillment within this shipment. So you can see here that I started on 6/21, and it took them about 2 weeks is when they broke out. When you do raw fulfillment inside of a normal order, they'll break it out and they'll create a new shipment for that raw fulfillment. It says units total 1. It's actually about 1,000 cards, but the way that it'll work sometime the next couple of weeks, they'll fully populate that list and they'll itemize that these are your 1,000 cards. And then when it goes complete, you go back to the inventory page, and now you'll have a whole host of, 1,000 new items that you can go in. So I guess on that too, when an item is completed, it will always be on hold. So you never have to worry about, oh, what if they complete my order and they've got my Vivid Voltage booster boxes at $80 when I want to sell them for 120. That's never a thing. It always defaults to completed orders go into your on hold, and you need to manually change the pricing and tell them how many you want to take off hold, how many you want to put available. Very, very smooth, very, very nice process in my experience. And if and when you've ever got questions, I think it's evo@trollandtoad.com. They're pretty responsive, pretty quick, and they've always been able to help me really well, really quickly with any of my questions. The fee summary, I don't really look at it too frequently, but I guess we can take a look at June. Just look June 1st. Oh, that's July. I was going to say there's only 30 days in June. So June 1st to June 30th, they paid me out 11.8 thousand. I think that would have been the May payout though. Access fees $19.99 a month. Raw fulfillment fee, I sent 10,000 items for raw fulfillment that month, so I paid about $600 in raw fulfillment fees. Storage fees, so I must have had 42 Elite Trainer boxes, booster boxes, which actually seems low. I would have thought I had more than that, but I guess I sold through a lot of them. If you sell them through, you're only paying storage on what's there. So like if you send 100 booster boxes and in 3 weeks you sell 90 of them and only 10 are left at the end, you're just going to pay the storage on the 10 that remain. So, and then yeah, the card items, return fee. Anybody who watched my error video, there were actually 5 of the blank Pokemon cards that if you want items returned to you from your inventory, they charge you 6 cents per line item and then actual return shipping. So that was $3.28 for first class postage. I paid $3.34 to get that shipped back. And then the manual fee, the way that it works, and I actually reached out to them and told them I was going to be doing a video like this to my fairly small audience right now, but they asked that I don't share the exact thresholds, but if you sell a certain amount monthly, you've got to be, you're not going to get it for $1,000 a month. You've got to be in the vicinity of where I am. You might be able to imagine a round number that I'm slightly over. But they will waive a certain amount of your storage fees. I can't tell you the exact number, and I don't even know the higher thresholds above where I am, but the way that it works, I'm essentially storing everything free right now. So yeah, last month it totaled up to about $105 in storage fees. I guess I'm kind of telling you that my monthly credit is more than $105. Hopefully that's not going to get me in trouble. They probably won't see this, but I'm not telling you the exact number. So it makes it easy that I can feel fine storing 1,000 hollow energy cards from those Rayquaza battle decks because it's not costing me anything. If I was paying though the full storage fees and seeing that I was only selling 5 or 10 a month, I might start to run the numbers and be like, that doesn't make sense to have that many there. And you might ship some back to you, or you might just be more cautious on what you ship in. But if you do get to those volume thresholds, it just makes it easier to keep a lot of inventory there. It's kind of a win-win because I keep some cheaper inventory there that they're storing for me for free, essentially. And from their perspective, I've got more items there. I mean, anytime a customer goes to their website and goes in and finds the card they're looking for, they're leaving with a happy experience. I mean, that's the biggest benefit, the Troll and Toad of the EVO program. So I'll be more inclined to send, hey, here's 5,000 cards for raw fulfillment, oddball, platinum, heart, gold, soul, silver, commons, reverse hollows, things of that nature. I mean, there are hundreds of items in my store where I'm the only one listed. So they get the benefit of a customer goes, hey, Catch 'em All Collectibles has that item. Customer buys it, customer leaves happy. I'm happy. It's a really mutually beneficial relationship between, the customer, the seller, and Troll and Toad. Uh-oh. Back to the dashboard for the final couple things. So yeah, payments. I mentioned that I had the auto pay unticked. The default payment is weekly. I pay my bills monthly. I mean, most things work monthly. I don't want to have to go to the bank 4 times a month or more. So what I do is I simply, on the first of every month, there's no way to automate it. It's just got to be manual. First of every month, whatever my net balance is, I manually request that payment, and I do that with this button. You cannot request a payment of under $250. So I mentioned that requesting a check is free, but they won't send you a check for 30 bucks. They won't send you a check for 200 bucks. It has to be over $250. For some people, I mean, Nick actually has mentioned in his videos that it takes him a couple months. He really only sells a lot of really cheap modern commons and uncommons right now, I think. So it might take you multiple months to get to that $250. But when you do, if you've got it automatic, I mean, they'll send you the check on a weekly basis. And if not, you go into payments, you request it right here. You got to get an address on file with them. But you can see here, as I said, first of the month, I request whatever my net balance is, May, June, July, right there. Some of these oddball things, this was a credit because they overcharged me. Instead of charging the 2 cents per item for breaking down those Battle Arena decks, they accidentally charged me 6 cents. I caught it. They went in and they made the adjustment for me. This was the 328 and the 6 cents that I talked about returning those blank error cards. And then this 312, I believe, was also returning some, I think they were damaged cards. So when you send raw fulfillment, if the cards don't meet Troll and Toad near mint or played, if they're damaged, they'll put them on hold for you and they'll ship them back at your cost. I think this video ended up being a fair bit longer than I expected, as they usually do. But I believe that covers everything I wanted to go over. Hopefully that was interesting to some people. I think some of my favorite videos are actually old school Pokemon's Nick's monthly breakdowns, where he just shows, hey, pie charts. This is what I sold. This is how much went to fees. This is what I bought. This is what came in from PayPal, eBay. I mean, I'm just showing you one section of that right now. I guess depending on how people like this video, I mean, maybe I'll I don't know if I'll show this every month, or this was more of a showing you how the platform itself works. Less of a, I mean, the numbers are there. It would be too much editing, too much pain to hide them while trying to show you all the function of the site. So I'm just giving you all that. But if people have any interest in seeing more breakdowns, potentially I'll do that on some kind of regular basis. I do intend to maybe do like a PWCC vault, just kind of go over my experience selling with that, show you the breakdown of their fees and how they pay you out. I think it's really cool. And just from what I've seen, I think it's something that's Evo especially. There's just not many videos out there on YouTube about it. I think it's an amazing service that's just really overlooked for anybody who wants to sell off parts of their collection without doing all the work themselves. Yeah, I appreciate anyone who checked out the video. I hope it helped. I hope it was interesting to you. If it was, if you've got any suggestions for what you want to see, if you want to see this on a monthly or quarterly basis, feel free to let me know below in the comments. You can always send me an email if you've got any questions, and I'll catch you all later.